We've done it, folks. The fans have won. Down with censorship. Man, the whole situation with Browndust2 over the weekend was wild. Obviously, the developers had no clue it was going to blow up like this, and rightfully so. I think it needed to be blown up because there's two aspects here. One, I think for anybody who enjoys anything not being censored, it's going to be upsetting. Things like this end up spiraling into other things. It infects other games. It ends up giving the win to those that want to censor things, and thus they censor something else. We've seen that with the situation with Steam. When they got all those games removed, what do they do? Oh yeah, we got it. On to the next one. It basically gives them the power to tell somebody else, hey, we won over here, and we're going to win here too. You're going to listen to us. That's the big problem there. I think there's a lot of people that obviously get stuck on certain things like, oh, well, in Browndust2, the characters they're censoring is characters that look younger. That's not the case, obviously, because you do have older-looking characters. You, again, have the pop slap game that doesn't include those characters. This was, across the board, a problem of wanting to censor the game itself. Anything that is abusive looking, that kind of stuff, they wanted to censor the game. And that stuff has ripple effects for other things. But in the end, thankfully, we've won. They've actually folded on this whole situation. They finally did an emergency live stream. They actually had the director come on there and apologize himself and say, hey guys, don't worry, we're not changing anything. But I still think there's going to be censorship coming. I want to make that very clear. I don't think this is a 100% win. There's obviously going to still be in the future situations where they're going to censor things. They're going to probably, anything developed from now on is probably going to be on a different lens. They're going to make sure that whatever they create going forward is going to be adjusted to the point where it's going to be acceptable for all regions. And I'll get into why exactly that is in a minute. Let's get into the actual letter that was released. He says, I sincerely apologize for any concern by our prior unclear responses and the lack of clarity following the January 10 developer note. Yeah, they sucked at that because they came back later on and they even doubled down and said, oh yeah, by the way, here's more stuff that we're going to censor, which, to my point, what was I saying? I said this isn't it. And sure enough, they released more like not even days after. After reflecting over the weekend, I am now ready to share my decision with you. Cancellation of character design changes. W. I'm actually like, yay, I don't have to drop this game. And again, my whole point there was that I knew that wasn't it. I knew they were going to censor more stuff. Oh, we got that taken off of there. Well, have them remove this too. Oh yeah, have them remove this too. This doesn't look good. They know they can control you, and it never ends. None of the characters or costume previously discussed in relation to this matter will be redesigned. All mentioned characters, including Therese and Raphia, will remain exactly as they are. No content, including slap slap pop, will be deleted. This is not temporary or tentative decision. This is our final policy and will remain in effect throughout the service of Browndust2. Thank you. I think that's sort of I don't think that's true, but they're basically saying, if we fail, we're going to fail. Like, we're going to keep to this until the point where they just remove us from the stores. I doubt that would happen. Like, if Apple and all these other services said you have to change things, they're going to change it in the end. Regarding Liberta's prestigious skin, decision about content should ultimately be left to each individual, and it is not right for the developer to restrict the prestigious skin that is obtained through purchase. I should have stood by our initial plans, but I lacked the courage to do so. The skin will be released in its original form, initially planned. The final choice and judgment will be left to you. As an expression of my apology, the skin will be available for everyone for free. For 4 weeks following the January 15th update. You get a free lewd prestigious skin in the end. I can't show it on here. It's spicy. But yeah, it's a good one. Following recent warnings, we announced a toned down version of Granadair. However, I have decided to release her in her original version instead. W. On revision criteria, many of you are most concerned about what standards for modifications are and which characters might be affected next. To be honest, the criteria set by external organizations have been so ambiguous that it is difficult for us to define them internally as well. My use of the term clearly an adult only led to greater anxiety and mistrust. This is entirely my mistake and responsibility. Thank you. Right here, they're addressing the thing that I was literally saying over and over again. I say this about every situation with censorship. Again, as much as some people will leave in the comment, but you're okaying this. You shouldn't okay this. Why are you saying this is okay? Every situation where there is censorship, the moment you crack that door open, you're opening up the floodgates. It doesn't stay like that. Once you start censoring this gets censored. Once you say this is not appropriate, this is not appropriate. I say that with really any kind of bill that is being put into effect that will cause some sort of censorship. When this character looks too young, Even though they're not a young character, they look petite or whatever. Some people will encourage the censorship of that, but ultimately, in the end, what happens is that everything gets censored that looks remotely like it. I said it before, it's the idea of having somebody looking over your shoulder and going, yeah, that's too young. To me, that looks too young. That character looks too youthful. That character looks too young. What's the age of that character? It never ends. It never ends. He's seen that. The criteria, we don't know. It's ambiguous. I don't know. That's the problem with all this censorship. Steam is a prime example. How many times do we see this is being censored, but this isn't being censored? The criterias are undefined. They're not clear. They just say no. Well, what's wrong? No. About service separation. Now, here's the big part. This is how they're going to get around whatever situation they're facing currently that they're still not completely clearly stating. Since Browndust 2 operates with the approval of each country's stores, platforms, and rating agencies, suspension in one country could easily lead to reports and additional reviews by others. I completely sympathize with them right here. And this is, again, what I think ultimately was a decision earlier, is the idea that in this one region for this store, they have these laws, and if it gets struck down from that store, they can then make the argument for other stores in other regions. This game's bad. You know it's been removed over there, right? Oh, crap. Take it down. Like, they won't even look at why it was removed or that it's laws that are only in effect over there. It makes the store afraid of issues coming into effect, of some law hitting them, and thus it's a chain effect, and they've seen that. Right now, regulations are becoming stricter worldwide, and Browndust 2 has remained under continuous scrutiny from multiple agencies. Even if we offer country-specific versions, as long as the original content exists, service suspensions could happen again at any time. I see what they're saying here, what they're... Basically, one region, somebody in that region could go to the governments or go to some sort of law enforcement and say, they're not following the regulations of our country. Here's a screenshot of their game and look what's in it. They won't go look in the actual code and find out if it's in there or not. They'll just assume, oh, it's in there, and it causes a problem. That's the fear they're kind of having there. If you have multiple versions in different countries, it will come under scrutiny for what's in a different region where it's less restrictive. I thought that separating service by country would not be a fundamental solution. Frankly, I was deeply concerned that cascading service suspensions would make regular service impossible. Again, the chain effect. For the country in question, we are discussing possible solutions with the relevant regulatory bodies, such as hiding content only in that country, suspending local service, or operating a modified build according to country-specific policy. They're not saying what country, that's the problem. I've seen posts here and there where people are specifying this might be South Korea because there's abusive policies that are being put into play. Even if it is 2D, even if it's not real, if it is, featuring abuse of any kind, they don't like that. Which makes sense because what all of these are actually being censored. These are all things that have some sort of abuse in them. So it technically makes sense. The first one, she's got bite marks on her and she's got a slap mark on her butt. I'm not sure with her video. That's just probably the fact that she's young and she's in that position. Let's be honest. Nobody's shocked by this, right? I don't see Rue right here. This one definitely, because Rue is being tied up, so it makes more sense. Yeah, most of hers, she's got, rips and whatnot on her. And additionally, she looks panicked. She looks fearful. That's also a thing that apparently is in this new law. All of these are very fearful looks. They're afraid of something coming at them. And again, of course, the last one is them being slapped in the butt. So that there's some sort of credit to what people are saying there where it might be South Korea. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see which country this is going to actually apply to. I think in most of the regions that this is in, it's a pretty good spread of, what they're actually making. But we'll see. Since these talks are ongoing, I cannot specify the country at this time. I hate that. But we will inform you unofficially as soon as it's agreed upon. We will not try to ignore any country's regulations. From now on, our one clear principle will be to provide country-specific service, not modified content. Thank you. This needs to be across the board. Every game needs to do this. The unfortunate thing is they don't, because this costs a lot of money. And this does technically open the door for me, and personally, I believe this won't be it. I think going forward, there will be censorship in Browndust 2. We just won't know. Prime example is Granadair. We didn't know there was a more looter version because they didn't even show it to us. It wasn't until now that he's like, hey, look, here's this one that we actually had that was looter, and now we're going to use it. Essentially, what I mean is, in the development team, when they go to make a character, and they have to make a cutscene, well, when they go to make the cutscene, they can go, hey guys, I really want to make the character be hanging from the string. Oh, that's really good. I like that. It looks really good. Yeah, but that one country, we got to make a version for that now. Yeah, that's true. It's double development. They now have to make 2 different arts. They have to rig that in that live 2D format for 2 different ones. Mark my words, going forward, after probably the next few releases of characters that they've already been in development for, you'll see there's only one character. There's only one version. Because they're going to make sure it all works for that one version. They might make certain content a little bit extra spicy on the side. You know, hey guys, I really want to do this. Okay, let's do it. We're not going to be able to release in that region because it's only going to cause problems for everybody. And it's going to cause more development time. It's going to cost them more money to make multiple versions. So they're going to make one that's going to be allowed everywhere. Now, going forward, it's going to be a little more easier because, let's be honest, they haven't really been making young characters in this game anymore. There has been very few not massive OPI. Like, I've made jokes to people before, like, it's not Browndust2, it's Browndust2. Like, every single character in this game that they're releasing anymore is massive. They're all big. So it's not as if they're going to have any problems going forward. I think this character is probably like one of the smallest looking characters we've had in a long time. Even if this causes inconvenience, we will not make decisions that harm the experience or rights of users enjoying the original content. Wow, I wish you said that before because it sounded like you were trying to make things more for sensitive people. Like their last live stream, they were literally saying something effective like, you know, to make it more comfortable for some users. It's like, really? Really? You're afraid of people being uncomfortable playing your game? If you're playing this game and you're upset by this stuff, you're supporting it. What are you doing here? If providing the original build through all of our major stores becomes difficult, we will seek alternative means so that users can enjoy the content in its original version. I think what they're probably mean there is like if across all the major stores, if they literally can no longer do it, otherwise they get shut down, they're probably going to provide that somewhere else. Like you can buy this art here or something like that. So even right here, they're even saying, hey, there's a chance that at some point all these stores will tell us, no, you can't have this art here, and they're going to have to take it down. Again, this isn't 100% win. They're still being logical here. We're not going to shut down the game if all stores shut this down. At the same time, I think there is a plan here that they could possibly, if they push more to having a PC client, which they do, and unfortunately they removed it from their main site at some point. Yeah. For some reason, they took away the download the launcher button. They only have Google Play here. You can go to the Discord and still get it, but they removed the button for the PC version. They need to put that back up here. They need to focus on that because that's honestly the best place to have this, because even in regions where there's restrictions, they can have a, over here, there's a patch right here that you can get, that kind of thing. It's much more easier to get around censorship. Anyways, they go on to talk about they have this feature event that's coming up. Obviously, please, don't ask a bunch of questions there because I want to be able to answer them properly so we don't make any more confusions going forward. My role is to protect your characters from external influences. Regardless of circumstances, character design changes should never happen. Additionally, I do not fully consider how seriously the issue of censorship or adjustment of character designs would have been felt by you. I just think it was done stupidly. I was telling people if they had, before the live stream started, if they had some really amazing cutscenes, like ready for replacing them, like, for instance, if they had Rue here, if they had a new one for her, which looked elaborate and amazing, multiple camera angles besides just this one, and it looked beautiful, the hair flow was amazing, and they said, hey, look, guys, we got to change all of these, and this is what the new ones look like. We're sorry, certain areas are now restricting us and we could get shut down if we don't do this. But to compensate, here are some really amazing new ideas that we have. Please, what do you think about this? It would have gone so much better. The problem is they showed stupid examples like where they're putting a mini skirt on a nurse outfit that doesn't even match the rest of the outfit. And they're saying, look, we got to change things. It looked stupid. I'm sorry. Teresa's new outfit looks stupid. It looked like they were literally just throwing stuff on there. It was how they handled it. They were laughing about it. They were saying we're getting too popular. It's now coming against us. Ha 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 ha. We have to start worrying about this kind of... It was handled horribly. Addressing such a critical issue with only a brief message and without adequate preparation was entirely my fault and deeply careless. In that instant, the trust we built around our artwork was severely shaken. Yep, you're never going to repair this. You're never going to repair this. Like I said earlier, literally going forward, everything is going to be scrutinized. Oh, look at this. This is their new path. Anything that looks too, censored, if it doesn't have enough TNA, people are going to go, yep, this is the new Browndust. Everything is censored across the board. the trust is gone. And now even upcoming releases will be met with doubt whether or not they've been censored. Yep. They're going to have to, from now on, for a good at least year, make 2 versions. Because if you start making single versions and they look more censored, everybody's going to question every single one of them like I just did. I see this as my most regrettable mistake. The final decision regarding Browndust 2 policy rests with me. There are no hidden forces or outside directives. There is, it's just that you bent to them. Let's be honest here. He's taking accountability, but let's be honest. There is. You're just bending to them. I sincerely apologize for the confusion and disappointment this caused. I'll do my best to make choices I and all of you can stand by in the future. Thank you. There you have it. That's the entire speech. Again, it was all done by himself sitting on this panel right here. Unfortunately, the original release was not translated on the video itself. They're planning on doing that later on, but that was the breakdown that they released with it. So again, I'm happy that they've decided to backtrack on this. Unfortunately, I don't think this is it. Like I said before, you're going to see censorship. It's going to be done across the board. They're going to tone things down. Again, they've already stopped releasing younger looking characters, so that's not going to be an issue for them anymore. It's going to be a new future for Browndust. At least this is a good step in a right direction. I think originally when I was talking about this, that was my thought process. Just make multiple versions for multiple regions. If you have a version that has to be censored, make one over there for that region and don't mess with anything else. Whether it's UK, whether it's South Korea, I don't know. But anywho, that's the news. Hope you guys enjoyed this video as always. If you did, hit the like button down below. If you like this content and want to support channel more, become a member. But until next time, y'all take care.